Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Giant Take podcast. The morning after the New York Giants lose 40-37 against the Dallas Cowboys in a game that I would call the craziest one in the 6 seasons that we've been doing this podcast. So, sorry to bring the episode a little later to you with probably milder tones as it's the morning after. It's literally in the morning. So, we're a little sleepy, we're a little tired, trying to get over this win, but we had, I wish it was a win. It's still in my mind. I'm still dreaming. Maybe I was dreaming that it was a win. Um, but we were trying to wait for time that Alex and I could both record together. So it comes now. I wish I could give you my fiery self. Let's see if I get to that point. But this is where we sit after a game with a Wando Robinson touchdown that could have been the game-ending play. Malik Neighbors, moonball, double coverage that could have been the game-sealing play. Or a final drive by the New York Giants, not once, but twice in overtime. And the second one leads to an interception that sets Dallas and Brandon Aubrey up for one of the easiest field goals that he could set off for a game winner in his entire life. Alex, how are you?
I don't want to say doing all right because it's been a rough morning, a rough, I guess, what is it now? 16 hours since the game. And I don't even know how to react, how to feel. It was just like a whirlwind of emotions. And Josh, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I kind of felt like it was just like the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs. Like it just killed me. And yeah, I think it was very, very positive on a lot of notes, which I have come to realize this morning, but which you wouldn't have heard from me if we did react right after the game, which I guess I don't know, gives a little bit more color to the story. But I think it was also just a game where the Giants shot themselves in the foot time and time again, and a game that they could have won against the Dallas Cowboys, and they have not beaten the Dallas Cowboys in I don't even know how long, and we were that close
It's
to
been
getting it,
since
Josh.
2016, Dak's first ever rookie year home opener when Victor Cruz caught a game winning touchdown in the end zone. He salsa'd. Eli Manning was the Giants quarterback. And since then, the Giants have not won a game against the Dallas
Yeah,
Cowboys.
yeah, and I think
Yep.
the Giants put up 37 points, so there is that. Um, but the defense was not good enough, and I think if you wanted a main takeaway in the first 2-3 minutes of us talking here is that the defense is not good enough, and it's not that the players are not good enough. I think a lot of this falls on Shane Bowen, and I do think a lot of people are calling for his firing. I'm not sure if I'm there yet necessarily, but he has not looked good against a Cowboys offense that really wasn't performing too well either. To be completely honest, against Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, who all kind of seemed a little bit in a funk throughout most of the game before they kind of pulled it together at the end. So I do think the defensive performance was not good enough. The pressure on Dak Prescott, yes, I know. Obviously, the Cowboys have one of the best O lines in the league, but we should have one of those dominant defensive lines, and it just did not feel like that against the Cowboys. And something has to change schematically or coordinatorly, if that's even a word, which I know it's not, but I will say it anyway.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, the Giants, I think the biggest one of those like Shane Bowen indications was in that final drive of regulation. He decides to play soft with 25 seconds left and play heavy deep zone that the Cowboys only need a field goal to tie the game. I don't know why you're not playing press, man. I don't know why you're not sending more blitz. There's only 25 seconds left. Like if you send a blitz and they get a big playoff, okay, fine. But at least you tried to pressure the quarterback. To play soft, not send that many rushers, you're practically allowing the Cowboys to get to that midfield logo. And regardless of how good or bad their kicker is, they should not in 25 seconds have gotten to midfield that quickly. There's no reason to. Dak Prescott's not Patrick Mahomes. Dak Prescott's not Lamar Jackson. He's not a top 10, debatably not even fine. I don't think he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So why he can get that far, it should not have been that easy.
And Josh, I'll say this. I'm looking in these clear passing down situations, right? We're talking 25 seconds left in the fourth quarter. We're talking about overtime where they need to push the ball down the field. You don't need to send the house necessarily. It doesn't need to be a blitz. But why are our 4 best rushers not on the field rushing the quarterback constantly? Why is it should be Abdul Carter, it should be Brian Burns, it should be Kayvon Thibodeau, it should be Dexter Lawrence. Those are the 4 guys who should be rushing the passer. And it was not that. And that, like, you invest your high draft capital in a guy like Abdul Carter, you invest, trade capital and also money towards Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau. You invested in all these guys to close out games for you, and you're not allowing them to do that. And I think that was also very, very frustrating for me to watch as a Giants fan. I was really excited to watch the defensive line, and what did I get to watch really besides a Brian Burns sack and a Thibodeau sack? So that was very upsetting, at least, and that falls solely on Shane Bowen.
I mean, and Brian Burns was able to get that sack so early in the game too that you were thinking, "Oh my God, already 3rd sack on the season, 2nd game. Like this guy's gonna have a miraculous year." And I don't want to say like he disappears for the rest of the game, but to be fair, like to be honest, I should say, not to be fair because I'm not being fair here. To be honest, like he disappeared after that. And we didn't really see his name pop up for the rest of this game. So, I don't even know. Like, I have no idea. Normally, we balance these episodes like offense, defense, but I don't think this feels right. I think we just really need to be in the moment of the game. So, we talked about them driving down and Shane Bowen's decision to play very far back and not press up and not send rushes in to get that field goal off. And of course, Brandon Aubrey's going to make it 64 yards. I mean, these big field goals always happen against the Giants all the time. Now you're inside and you have basically the best kicker in the NFL. So, of course, he's going to make it. So we go to overtime. You force the Cowboys to punt. You have a couple big, really, really big plays. I'm very happy with how Drew Phillips stepped up in this game. He makes a huge tackle, forcing the Cowboys to punt, and I was very impressed by him today. He played very veteran-like at the young age of, let me confirm how old Drew Phillips is, like 24, 23. So shout out and credit to him for how he played on yesterday. Then the Giants complete a couple passes to Malik Neighbors. Russell Wilson does. Then he's sacked. They have that fumble. It goes out of bounds. Russell Wilson, then an incomplete pass to Wandale, and then you're punting it away. So that's the end of the first Giants drive. Then you do it again. You sack Dak. He might scramble out a little bit. Then there's some penalties. You force him to punt. You have the ball. It's a game-winning drive. 2 minutes to work with. This is what you prepare for. It's what you practice for. It's like any other 2-minute drill. Devin Singletary gets stuffed. I don't know why Devin Singletary is even out on the field. This is something I texted Alex during overtime. Devin Singletary had a couple plays in overtime. He shouldn't have any plays in overtime. He is the 3rd running back on this Giants team. Cam Scatterbo and Tyrone Tracy are clearly both better than him. I don't know why there are play designs getting scripted unless they are gasping for air, which could be the case. They could both be very tired. But if that was the case, then fine. But besides that, both of those guys should not be on the field. I'm sorry, both of those guys should be on the field in overtime. Devin Singletary should not. But anyway, he gets stuffed. And then Russell Wilson, looking for Malik Neighbors in double coverage, throws a really bad ball. Just throws it up basically like he's playing jackpot. And the Cowboys come down with it for an interception at the Giants 30, which puts them in really good field position to drive and kick the game-winning field goal. And the Cowboys offense, including Dak scrambling up the middle for 15 yards, kind of did the rest to put the nail in the coffin and set Aubrey up for, again, like I said, a very easy kick for his standards at the Giants 28. It was a 46-yarder. He drains it right down the middle. And the Giants lose. So it's just even more painful because they had it. And like they had it twice. 3 times if you even include after the Malik Neighbors touchdown in the fourth quarter. But even in overtime, once you have the ball, and when the Giants had the ball, all they needed was any score. Anything. They just needed to get on the other side of the field. The first time with 6 minutes left in overtime, couldn't do it. Second time, 2 minutes left in overtime, throw a pick on the second play. And it's just so hard because I want to defend Russell Wilson so badly because this guy had one of the best days, and it's insane that I'm saying this about Russell Wilson, a guy that has been in the NFL for so long, who's 36 years old, who we knew or thought was going to be this wash quarterback that was just a stopgap for a year to wait and get to Jackson Dart, threw 450 yards yesterday, went 30 for 41, and threw 3 golden touchdowns. And especially the last 2 to Wandale and Malik Neighbors. You could not have placed those balls any more perfectly. And then one slips out of his hand, goes backwards. Thank God for Cam Scadaboo knocking that out of bounds. And then the second one, just in overtime, why are we forcing it downfield like that? It's just so hard because he had such a great game. And I wish, and I was waiting to sit here and literally just praise Alex, who our favorite non-Giants player was for years. I mean, growing up, I debated getting a Russell Wilson jersey because I loved him so much. And my dad had to convince me out of it because I'm a Giants fan. He's like, you can't wear another team's jersey. But I'm like, it's Russell Wilson. He's so good and he's so fun to watch. And my God, I think I might have bought a Russell Wilson Giants jersey, even if he only plays on this team for a goddamn year. Why? Because he won us the first game against the Cowboys in a decade, practically. In a freaking decade, we haven't beat this team, and he almost did it with almost 500 yards passing. I would have went on Fanatics, I would have went on Giants.com, whatever it was. I would have bought the jersey right then and there when that game ended. I just don't know how this turned into a loss. I mean, I do because this is my team, and this bullshit happens week after week after week. But I was just right. It was right there, time and time again, and they didn't pull it out. And it's astonishing. It really is. This game threw us for a freaking loop, and like I'm talking to friends yesterday, and they're like, "Well, it was expected because you guys are the Giants, and Brandon Aubrey is one of the best kickers. Like, you obviously he's going to make the 64 9." And it's like, yeah, well, you know what? If you were there and it was your team, it's still baffling. Yes, looking back, yeah, he's one of the okay, fine, but it's not your team. Your team was not playing in that game. If it was your team playing that game, I guarantee you your reaction would also be blown up. It's to another level. All right, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't even know where to go from here. I said this to someone yesterday. I was like, I wouldn't wish being a Giants fan on my worst enemy. It is it's torture, to be completely honest, Josh. Like it has been torture for the past God knows how many years. But it at the same time, they always give you this like sense of a little bit of hope, like they did today. And you always have that little bit of delusional hope before the season. It's just a never ending cycle. And maybe, you know what, I'm sure it's that way with every team in the NFL and their fans. But with the Giants, it's a special case of not being able to live up to those expectations. And I don't know how exactly I can do this for another 15 weeks. If this is what it's going to be like from tight, close loss where the Giants shoot themselves in the foot to getting blown out by, you know, the Chiefs next week or whatever it may or may not be. I don't know how you go about this anymore because it's very difficult for us, particularly obviously because we have to come, you know, come after the game and talk about it. And we kind of, you know, hype it up for ourselves every Thursday too. So I think it's very, very tough time to be a Giants fan, is all I'll say. And I think the coaching has not been good enough, clearly. It's I was happy to see Russell Wilson perform because I think that does help out Jackson Dart as well. Even though, by the way, something to mention, we did see one Jackson Dart snap. So I guess if people are interested in that, not that anything really happened, and then he
Saw a
fell on his face on
few.
the
We
second
saw a
one.
few. We didn't
Yeah,
see
well, there's
one.
a few actually. Yeah, what was it, 3 or 2?
Yeah, I think it was like
I think
three.
yeah,
And
there
it was
there
it
was one where
was
he handed it off to Scottaboo.
there
The other
was
one he fell on his face,
yep,
and
and then
then
that
the
ended
other
that.
one, yeah, and then I
Came
think
out of the
that was the
game.
end. So it might have been 2.
I think there were
Um,
a few. I think there was one more. I think there was three. I think there was three. Two
yeah,
designed RPO handoffs, and then one where he tried to play keeper. He slipped on the turf, fell, and
yeah.
very interesting decision to debut Jackson Dart in what practically was one of the last drives for the New York Giants in that game, if it wasn't for overtime. Um, and to put him in for the RPOs was a very interesting decision. I mean, one of them did send Cam Scattaboo for a touchdown practically. He was 1 yard away, and then he got it in on the next play. Um, and yeah. Okay, Alex, I want to butt in because I think we should take a break. We do have to fit that in at some point in this episode, and I feel like we would forget about it. So let's do that now. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up, but we'll also talk about something we haven't touched on yet, which I don't know how we haven't talked about it. But this is what they call a tease. So I'm going to tease it, and it was one of the main reasons that the Giants lost today. We'll get to that on the other side of the break.
That was a tough one. Battled back and forth. Guys left it all out on the field, and it's a tough result.
All right, welcome back to this episode of the Giant Take podcast. I ended it with a little bit of a tease before the break, and one of the main things that I think also set the Giants up for failure today or yesterday. Alex, do you have a guess?
I'm gonna go the penalties and James Hudson in particularly.
Yeah, that might do it. The Giants committed 14 penalties for 160 yards. And a few of those, if you didn't know, four of them, um, 4 penalties on one drive
Those
was
were the
from,
accepted penalties, by the way. I believe it was closer to about 21 or 22 actual penalties. So something to keep in mind as well.
they drew 21 flags. 14 of those were accepted, and that was a franchise record 160 yards of free yardage, in a way, free yardage in quotes, that was given to the Dallas Cowboys from those penalties. And a main recipient of those calls was against James Hudson, who was, thank God, taken out after that atrocious drive. James Hudson, which, by the way, the same James Hudson that we saw drawing penalties or getting penalties called on him during training camp when we went, and it was like every other day, and there was a no tolerance policy. He would commit the penalty and he would come out. You wouldn't play in training camp. So I don't understand why it took an entire drive or maybe even 2. I forget how many because it was in the first quarter to make that decision though to take him out. I mean, he does the first one, okay, fine. The second one, he's gone. Should be gone. And right now, he should be gone. I mean, he should. I know you can't cut him because it's a cap hit, but I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, that guy should be cut. He shouldn't be on the team. You can't do that to 52 other guys in that moment when you're trying to win a football game. It's not fair to the other players. It's not fair to the coaches. I mean, you are jeopardizing your team's success to where the Giants could have forced Dallas to turnover on down so much earlier if you just did your job and did it correctly. And by the way, I'm sorry, not a turnover on downs. Again, my mind is all over the place because he's an offensive player, but extended the Giants' drive and made it easier for Russell Wilson and the offense, who are trying to actually cook something up here to score. And you're just, yeah.
Yeah, only bright side is we get to see Marcus Bowe, and he actually had a very good game. So if you want one of those few positives from this one, he looked really good. Obviously, we hope we have Andrew Thomas back next week, but Marcus Bowe definitely put in a good shift. So I don't expect to see a lot of James Hudson going forward because that was ridiculous. And again, if you talk to me right after the game or right after that was happening, that might have been the most frustrated I've been in quite a long time, is all I'll say. I've calmed down a little bit. I still think he does not deserve a spot on this roster after that. It's like if you, I'm trying to think of a real life comparison here. It's like if you like somehow messed up 5 orders in a row working at an ice cream shop and you just like kept like eating the cone and then like you spilled the cone onto the floor and then you like threw the ice cream at the dude's face. Like that was basically what happened when I was trying to explain it to some non-football fans here later last night. But that would be the best comparison, and it was just ridiculous if you think about it in that way. How he still is employed in the NFL.
There's a difference too because it's like Alex. There's a difference. Everyone. It's like just do your job and like do it well. There's a difference between like Russell Wilson passing for 450 yards and doing his job, but like a penalty is different because yes, it's very hard to play in the NFL. There is only the 1%, the tiniest possible amount of people that try for that goal and make it there. And so playing your position is one thing, but getting penalized for doing things wrong, or for one of the penalties that he got was when he landed on another Cowboy defensive lineman and then started pushing him further into the ground because he was upset at him. That's what I'm talking about. That's egregious mistakes that are stupid. And
How
that
about
is
instead of playing tackle, he just decided to whack a dude in the face with his hand. Like it was ridiculous.
right. It was the same player because he was so
now I'm
mad.
getting angry about it. It was genuinely insane. And then he comes off the field yelling and screaming at everyone, trying to push Dable and like
right, who are
around.
trying to freaking calm him down from playing the most atrocious game of his career.
Like it's ridiculous. It was embarrassing. It was awful. It was ridiculous. And the Giants could have gotten a touchdown on that drive if it wasn't for that, right? So they lost 4 points, and those 4 points, well, we know what that could have done at the end of the game, Josh.
And Alex, the Giants finally do get a touchdown, though. It took until week 2 to get there. But this offense was moving on all cylinders. We saw the bigger debut than like the 2 rushes that Cam Scadaboo had last week. Today he had 11 carries and looked to kind of solidify himself, at least in this very moment, as the starting running back for the New York Giants, ahead of Tracy and ahead of Singletary, excuse me. But 11 carries for 45 yards. He had that touchdown right after he had the big run when Jackson Dart was in, which you mentioned a little earlier, 4 yards a carry. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but my God, the receiving core of the New York Giants did something and did it really, really well yesterday. And I'm saying I can't believe I'm saying this because, behind Malik Neighbors, we had no idea what everyone else was going to be. But in their role when they were called on, certainly Wandale, Darius Slayton, Tyrone out of the backfield, and Theo Johnson did what they needed to do. Darius Slayton, 2 catches for 61 yards. Tracy out of the backfield, 4 catches for 36 yards. Theo Johnson, 4 catches for 34 yards. But the two guys who, if I compared them to a stat line and I said, who are these two receiving duo? You might say T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Wan'Dale Robinson, 8 catches, 142 yards and a touchdown. Malik Neighbors, 9 catches, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wan'Dale Robinson had the game of his career, and honestly, so did Malik Neighbors. This was an unbelievable day for these two guys, and I am just so happy to finally see, because we knew who Malik Neighbors was. Everyone can say, oh, rookie of the year, it might go down a lot. I actually also saw a lot of people going into this game that game last year against the Cowboys where he had like 20 targets. That's the only reason why he was like so highly rated. He's an overrated receiver. Yeah, Malik Neighbors silenced those haters, but we as Giants fans knew how good Malik Neighbors already was. What we didn't know was how good Rondell Robinson was. We knew what he could be, but we didn't know what he was. And in that game, he truly showed. Finally, I feel like, Alex, it's took years, but he got to this point, and I just really hope it's only continuing up from here. But he had a phenomenal pass catching day.
I think you've seen it in flashes, and it's been slightly more consistent this year. He's also had trouble staying on the field at certain points, but he's in his contract year now, Josh, and I think he's the guy who's going to be fighting to get that big receiver money that we've seen being passed around the league. And him and Malik Neighbors make quite the duo with Darius Slayton finishing that group out. So I do think there's not a lack of weapons on this offense, and this offense can be productive. And I think we saw that today. Granted, the Cowboys defense is awful, but the Giants offense did also look good. So I'm interested to see how they do against the Chiefs, who are a above average, defense. And obviously they have a excellent offense with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and all of them. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
It's one thing though that we can say heading into that game.
What can we say?
Both teams are 0-2.
True.
It's a fact. I didn't say anything else. I'm just saying the Giants are 0-2 and the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2. I'm not saying anything about how good the teams are, but record-wise, of course the Giants are going to be heavy underdogs. Of course the odds are probably going to be set at over/under 5.
I would say I've watched
10.
how the Chiefs have played these first 2 weeks. It's a winnable game.
Yeah,
but
I'm just both teams are 0-2. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
No, I have nothing else to say besides that. I can't even think about looking forward to next week. I need to still decompress from this week, and I'm thinking.
And
I need another 72 hours, maybe.
I can't believe that game, by the way, is our home opener on Sunday Night Football in prime time. I mean, we go from this, where probably the entire country was already watching because it was a Fox. I think it was a Fox national game. I have to imagine Giants Cowboys was because America's team and Giants.
From most regions, yeah.
Right. To staying prime time, basically, but in an actual prime time, like after 7 p.m. slot at 8:20 on Sunday Night Football with everyone watching to see, can the Giants, can continue scoring that many points after what happened. Obviously, they'll more be watching to see can the Chiefs actually win their first game. But anyway, besides the point.
Yeah. I don't even know what else to say. I would say this. I think this team has potential. I think there's a lot of good players, but if the coaching staff doesn't get it together, particularly Shane Bowen, there's going to be a problem because this Giants defense is supposed to be better. They need to be better if we want to win football games. And it's as simple as that. If, obviously this game was a whirlwind and it felt, 8 million different emotions. But if you want the key takeaway from what we really learned in this one is the Giants defensive play calling, their scheme is a mess. And the players are not playing up to their potential. And right now that falls on one guy. We'll see if that changes, but that's kind of how I see it as, I guess, my closing, looking into the future statement here on this recap.
Yeah. Sorry to everyone listening and watching that kind of expected the normal format for this. I just thought it would be best at this point to just kind of just.
You can't have a normal format for a game that was not normal.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way of putting it. So that's going to do it for this recap. I mean, we could go on for hours on end, but at the end of the day, again, chances and chances and chances on offense and overtime, at least the two that I can think of, that the Giants could have wrapped this one up. All they needed was 3 points. But they couldn't even get that. And then on defense, to end the game, you had one where there was 2 minutes left, couldn't make the stop. You had one when there was 30 seconds left, couldn't make the stop. And then you end up losing. So, with that, we thank so much for listening or watching. Subscribe everywhere. Our social medias are at the Giant Take Pod. Alex on Twitter at anorian23. I'm on Twitter at joshua29. And the last thing I guess I'll say is good luck this week, Giants fans. We're recording this, and then I literally have to run to the station up here, Z89, to have a sports show. And being in Syracuse, New York, yeah, we'll talk Bills, we'll talk Jets, obviously, but it's Overreaction Monday, as we like to call it. And we are going to have to talk Giants. And I don't know how I'm going to do this again within 2 hours. I have to talk about this team twice. So just good luck this week. Stay in it because, obviously if you're a true fan, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how the weeks look, and in the most recent decade, it's been unfortunately, this team literally affects your mental health. And as Alex and I know, when this team loses, especially the fashion that they lost yesterday, at least Monday, by Tuesday it starts getting a little better, but Mondays suck. I mean, we are literally upset the entire day, and it's because of our football team. It's actually insane. We might be crazy people, but also if you're listening this far into this episode, then you're probably one of us, and it's going to be a rough Monday for you too. So good luck. Hang in there. And yeah, today is going to suck, and it's not even because I have 4 classes at school today. In college, it's literally because I'm a Giants fan and they lost by 3 in a game that they still could have beat the Dallas Cowboys in. That's all I got. That's my final word.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to go around this day. I kind of just want to go and sulk in my bed for the rest of the day, but unfortunately we both got commitments, so we got to get up, get rolling, and I'd recommend that for everyone who's listening as well, is all I'll say.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll be back, as we always are, on Friday, previewing a Sunday Night Football primetime matchup, Giants-Chiefs, after the Giants come off a 40-37 loss against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Chiefs come off a Super Bowl rematch loss, 20-17, against the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, Alex, 2 things now. The Chiefs lost by 3 last week. The Giants lost by 3 last week. Both teams are 0-2. It's a fact. We'll find out what becomes a fact on Sunday night. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Peace.